Good Sunday morning. I'm KHU11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez, and we are tracking a pretty active and rainy day today here across Houston as we head into the rest of our Sunday. Could see some rain chances linger through Labor Day, but the drop in humidity is what we're all looking forward to as we head into the middle of the week. If you're heading out the door right now, temps are in the 70s and 80s. It's still going to be muggy out there. We're seeing a lot of cloud cover and some sun trying to peek through those clouds. 77 right now here in Houston. East-northeast winds at 6 miles an hour. We're also looking at some gray skies off near the coast, and there was some storms out near Galveston. Those have moved south, but can't rule out some more storms on the way as we go into later this afternoon. So if you are heading to Galveston for today, just be on the lookout for the chance for storms. We had that yesterday, and that's going to be the case for today. High temps are going to be in the lower 80s if you're heading out towards the beach, but just be a lookout for those downpours as they could bring some dangerous lightning. Also, if you see any water spouts, any funnel from the sky, might want to just head out of there and evacuate the beaches pretty quickly, because it's always hard to tell whether or not those funnels are strong or if they're weak. And so I know we had 60-mile-an-hour winds with that water spout that we saw yesterday, and just keep in mind that if you see any funnel from the sky, you might want to just head out of there immediately. Radar right now is looking a bit active for areas north of Houston. I am tracking these widespread rain and heavy rain and storms and some lightning with those storms that are now about to move into Huntsville. This is a very slow moving swath of rain, and so if we have those slow moving storms, we're going to see the potential for flooding, especially across our area. So right now, like I said, it was pretty quiet. We had a downpour in and around the Cypress area. That downpour that was just south of Cypress earlier this morning, that was lasting a good 30 minutes, and it was just remaining stationary, and that's kind of giving you a sign that if we get more of those downpours for today, that's what's really going to cause those ponding on roadways and wet road conditions. And so right now there is some storm activity just off the coast of Freeport, so there was a flood advisory. A flood advisory is still in effect, but just keep in mind that we very well could see the sea breeze front move inland, and that could bring some more scattered storm activity in combination with the storms that are moving in from the north of us. So looking closer at our future cast and when it comes to the timing, when we get closer towards 12 o'clock, we're going to start seeing those downpours moving into our northern areas. By 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we might start seeing more of that heavy rain and lightning and storms moving through the Houston area into the city of Houston, and that's by 2 to 3 p.m. So definitely keep that in mind for today, and then eventually it's going to start moving closer towards the coast, especially as we get closer towards 4 p.m. And so that's kind of giving you a sign that if you are planning a beach day today, it looks a little dicey in terms of the forecast. I think it's going to be a pretty stormy outlook, so just have a plan B. I know there's a lot of things to do in Galveston that doesn't involve being outdoors, but then Monday expecting to see lingering showers, but the Storm Prediction Center is giving us a slight risk for flooding. That is a 2 out of 4. That's a bit elevated from what we've been seeing for the past few days. And so when it comes to this widespread rain, all of southeast Texas could be under the gun for slow-moving storms that could bring some minor flooding in some locations. We're also including tomorrow under a marginal day for flooding. That's a 1 out of 4. That's more isolated storm activity is expected. Not too much of a concern, but looking at that rain potential through tomorrow evening, could see up to ½ inch to 1 inch of rain here across southeast Texas. So for your Labor Day forecast, high temps in the low 90s. Do have a chance for some showers and some possible isolated storms, but I think tomorrow is going to look better than what we've been anticipating, because we had a good 60% chance of showers and storms. Now models have backed off on the rain potential for tomorrow, but we're all looking forward to this cold front that's going to move southward. It's not going to really bring us change in terms of temperatures, but it's going to bring some drier air in place, and that's when we see our dew points go from the 70s to the 60s, especially as we head into Tuesday and into Wednesday. So looking rather drier, and that could bring some cool mornings for us here across southeast Texas through the middle of the week. And so what we've been experiencing and what we've been enduring all across our area for the summer, those dew points in the 70s, feeling pretty tropical out there. But then as we get that drop in humidity, we're going to see those dew points down in the 60s. That's going to bring us some more of comfortable feeling type conditions and less muggy conditions. Here's a look at the tropics. We're tracking that wave that's just off the coast of Africa. National Hurricane Center has kept this at 30% chance for the past 7 days. I'm seeing a little bit of better organization right now with the latest scans on the satellite imagery, and so we're going to have to watch that pretty closely. I think it's too early to tell where that system's going to be headed, but it's also a reminder that we are still getting closer to the peak of hurricane season, which is going to be on September 10th. So as far as your 7-day forecast, we are highlighting today as a weather watch day, so expecting those stormy conditions for today, and likely the reason why is because that slow-moving storm activity could bring some minor flooding in some locations, and seeing some lingering showers into Monday as well, and then drying out and clearing up for the middle of the week, which is good news for us, but we're just going to continue to track more of those showers and storms as we progress through the next few days here. But looking at radar, once again, if you are heading out and about across Houston, maybe you're leaving town, we're looking at some heavy rain that's just to the north of Huntsville. This is bringing some flash flood warnings in effect for portions of just to the west of 45. And so looking at closer towards the coast, we're also looking at more scattered showers and storms. I'm going to go ahead and step off screen here so I can control the radar and show you a better what we're looking at to the north of Houston. So as we look closer to what's going on north of town, we are seeing along 45, just north of Huntsville, in and around the Centerville. They're looking at some heavy rainfall. Buffalo looking at heavy rain. Turlington, this is really just along 45 north towards Dallas. So I'm going to go ahead and to show you how much rain we've been seeing with this for the past 6 hours. And this is quite significant here, especially to the north of Centerville, because we are seeing close to 4.5 inches of rain, close to 5 inches of rain in some locations. So that's really problematic when it comes to flooding. And if you do have those travel plans for today north of Houston towards Dallas, be on the lookout for heavy rain as well as that increased flooding risk, especially as we're seeing already within the past 6 hours, close to 5 inches of radar estimated rainfall just to the north of Centerville, and that does include portions of I-45. This is actually in Buffalo. So heavy rainfall still possible for today. We could see some of these showers and storms move into closer towards Houston. Just go ahead and plot these rain totals here. 5.3 inches of rain out in Buffalo in and around the 45 area. So near, I believe that's north of the Texas OSR. But looking at the potential for more of those showers and storms, we could see those conditions become a bit more favorable for flooding, especially if we do get more of those downpours closer to the Houston area, and that's what our futurecast is showing as well, especially as we head into the latter part of the day for the earlier part of our afternoon. And so futurecast once again showing some heavy rain out towards Galveston. We're seeing those downpours hug the Texas coast, but looking at 12 to 3 p.m. is when we could start seeing our northern areas getting a dose of those storms that were moving in from the north of Huntsville. So from Conroe, the Woodlands, even Tomball, Magnolia, you might see more of that heavy rainfall. And then by 2 to 3 p.m., we're going to see these downpours move into the Houston area. And that is going to really, depending on how fast they move, signs right now are telling me that these might not be fast-moving storms. And it's those slow-moving storms that really gives us the increased risk for flooding, especially if we do see those storms flare up and move into the Houston area. So you're able to see those storms north of town drop to between 3 and 4 inches of rain. That was a radar estimate of 5 inches of rain out in Buffalo. I don't think we're going to get that much rain in terms of it, but it's just giving you a heads up that our atmosphere is unstable and slow moving storms are possible for this afternoon. Then eventually overnight, we're going to be mostly quiet. Might see a few lingering showers for tomorrow for Labor Day holiday, and it's looking more likely that things are going to be more isolated tomorrow. I don't think we're going to see too much of an issue for tomorrow as we head into tomorrow afternoon, especially for Labor Day. And that's the reason why the Storm Prediction Center for today is giving us a slight risk for flooding. That is a 2 out of 4. That completely encompasses all of southeast Texas. And so just be on the lookout for this afternoon that if you are traveling out and about, might just make sure your destination, I know it's a holiday weekend and we want to go venture out and do things, but between the hours of 12 and 5 o'clock, might want to just find a place to be a little bit closer to home or a little bit safer place, because we could see some downpours that could bring some possible minor flooding in some locations. You don't want to be caught off guard by that, and that's why we're warning you about this right now, especially for this afternoon. And tomorrow, more of a marginal risk for flooding. That is a 1 out of 4. So I think tomorrow is looking actually quite good if you do have those outdoor plans for tomorrow afternoon, especially for our Labor Day forecast. So high of about 92 degrees. Scattered storms are possible. I think you're going to be more isolated, actually. It's not going to see the widespread rain that we're seeing today, but we're also looking forward to this drop in the humidity as we head into the middle of the week. So again, once again, as far as your 7-day forecast, we are expecting a rather stormy day. I know we're starting off quiet. Might want to get your things done right now, but then once we get closer towards the noon hour to 3 p.m., that's when we're expecting to see those stormy conditions, and we could see slow moving storms that brings a risk for some flooding in some locations. Monday, looking more isolated, 40% chance of showers, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. We're going to see conditions clear on out by the middle of the week. Also, a drop in the humidity might bring us some comfortable feeling conditions by Thursday and Friday. So that's something to look forward to as we progress to the day. So definitely be very safe out there if you do find yourself traveling across the Houston area for this afternoon, because we are expecting these weather patterns going to be a bit unsettled, more unsettled than what we've seen yesterday for the rest of our Sunday. And of course, I'll be here until the early afternoon hours, and we'll be tracking the latest weather updates, and you can always find that on the KHTU 11 app as well as on KHTU.com. Have a great rest of your day.